Everything is going extremely well.
And now, showtime.
There we go. Okay. Why am I screen sharing? Put me up full screen. Full screen, mate. There we go. It's the wrong side. Over here? No. Here? No. Here? No. There we go. Hey, this is what happens when I'm in New York, everybody. So I'm on the laptop instead of in the studio. Anyway, let's. It's so great to see you. Hi, Jesus, everyone else. Let me know where you're at. Where you are in the world, and let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our Friday Live every week at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've been blown away by the energy and the record number of comments and questions after this week's video on the easy mode of Facebook ads and that audit video. I'm uploading the second one right now for this Sunday. Seriously, the enthusiasm has been incredible. So today, I want to circle back to that lesson. We're going to break it down further, and then we're going to dive into all of your questions, because there was a ton of them, both on that video and on a bunch of other videos. So let's get started. What's actually driving your ad costs higher? I was just at this Meta summit for agencies yesterday, and everybody gets things wrong. Like why the typical fixes don't work. And let's also get into exactly how to apply this tactic step by step to make your account more efficient and scalable. But first, before we talk about what the tactic is, we need to understand the hidden forces that makes costs skyrocket in the first place. Because if you understand why costs climbed, then you'll know exactly how to keep them low. So let's get into the wrong fix, the quick hacks. When performance dips, most advertisers don't fix the root cause. They panic. And that panic leads them to chase hacks. They tweak attribution models. They play with exclusions. They set cost caps and bid caps. They launch dozens of new ads at once. And at first, this feels like something's working. You see a quick bump. Results might jump for a week. You think you cracked the code. But then the spike fades and costs climb again. And you're back to square one. These hacks are not strategies. They're band-aids. And the worst part is that they don't just fail. They wear down your account in ways you don't notice until it's too late. It's like running on a treadmill, but you feel like you're working, but you're not actually getting anywhere. So let's understand the confusion here. The real hidden danger of this is not your confusion, but you're confusing Meta's machine. Every time you overload the account with new ads, new offers, new audiences, the algorithm struggles. It can't figure out who your best customer actually is, who actually wants to see your ads. Instead, it just chases anybody willing to buy once. Somebody buys because of a coupon. Somebody buys because of a flashy creative. Someone buys because of a quirky headline. You're left with a random pile of one-time buyers who share nothing in common. And now Meta's system has no consistent signal on who to find next. Remember, the first sale is the least profitable. The truth is that the ads that win long-term are not the newest ads. They're the oldest ones. The ones that ran long enough to build data, consistency, and trust. During Black Friday, the ads that dominate are very often the same ones that crushed months earlier. I've helped plenty of brands scale from 6 figures to 8 and 9. Every single one of them had a handful of ads that spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions each. Not one of them got there by spreading $1,000 budget across hundreds of tiny ads. So if hacks don't work and flooding your account just confuses the machine, what's really going on? And that's what we need to begin to understand here. What we need to start focusing on is appreciating why all of this stuff is happening. Sorry, I got to put this thing on private mode for me, people. Let's see. Let's get this to do not disturb. Okay, there we go. So we need to appreciate what's going on. And what I want to start with is that we need to understand that if we keep the machine focusing on random one-off buyers that have nothing in common, then making the machine capable of consistently being able to produce repeat buyers is almost impossible. And if we understand that the first transaction is the least profitable, and what we're trying to do is set up a machine to get the most people to likely buy again, and if we're looking at CPA and other metrics, our primary focus is essentially efficiency. Well, let's start by understanding the most efficient way to get sales. Now, one of the big things we're going to talk about today is something you've probably been told to not do, something that I've told you to not do in the wrong way. So, instead of bearing, let's just get to it. A lot of folks still rely on old school retargeting. You know what I mean? The abandoned cart style audiences, right? I just had a conversation at the summit here in Manhattan yesterday with a guy named Sam Piliero, who gave his tips and tricks on how to be successful with an ad account. And he quite literally said a top, middle, and bottom funnel campaign. I was stunned. Either way, here's the truth. 9 out of 10 people who are in your abandoned cart audience, 9 out of 10 of them have already said no. And they meant it. Spending more money to chase them is just burning your budget. Now, it can look good on paper and in your report because you'll see a $10 sale and call it a win. But if it cost you $100 to get a no, and then the real cost was $10 to get a yes, it's actually not 10, it's 110. That 5x ROAS means you lost 50% of your money. And when people are shopping, they're abandoning cart all over the place, not just with you. So these audiences are insanely competitive. So what's the smarter play? What's the better move? What's the banned strategy that you should actually be looking at? It's called broad retargeting. Instead of hammering the same abandoned carts, we target the much bigger pool of people who already know you. People who have engaged, visited, or shown interest, but aren't locked into a yes or a no yet. These are warmer audiences. They know your brand. They know your product. And they're still in decision mode. And I think the best part is that Meta's algorithm is going to filter out the people who just don't care anymore. You don't need to micromanage exclusions. The machine is already doing it for you. Remember, their business model is the end user experience. If you try to micromanage that, you're only paying more for a worse one, which makes no sense. So let's get practical. There are 2 really powerful ways that you can use broad retargeting in your account. First, creative testing. Run your new ads here, even in your one campaign. Warm audiences can help you figure out quickly which creatives are worth keeping. And remember, the machine is already serving ads to people. A new ad gets launched if the folks are in the bottom of the funnel. Any new content you post, organically or with paid, is originally given distribution to the warm audiences. The machine wants to know, how do people respond to this? And if we already know how we think these people are going to respond, because they're already in your funnel and they already look like everybody else, well, let's use that as a test audience, right? That's where your TikTok gets like 200 views and you're stuck in jail, right? It's because it goes to your test audience. Those people don't care. And then it doesn't go anywhere else. Same thing happens with your paid ads. In fact, every time you launch a new paid ad, it's always going to the folks that are in the bottom of the user journey funnel within your marketing. So the more new ads you launch, the more you're just pillaging the bottom of the funnel. Now, you can let that happen at full scale with all of your ads everywhere, including the broad targeting, which essentially gives you what works, but the bigger issue is that you're defining what works at the expense of everything else. In this case, what we can do with the broad retargeting for the warm audience is this ad set is predetermined as higher quality and lower volume. It is incapable of gobbling up all the spend for unscalable results. We've already designated as a quarantined environment. It also, because of that, eliminates the noise of the less qualified. So we're essentially saying you should win here. We're going to let you play in the backyard. Whoever wins in backyard might get the opportunity of going out into the real world. But unless you are exponentially better, and unless you are dominant to the place where we understand that it's like a Lord of the Flies situation, you are the last standing and it's not by luck, we're not even going to push anywhere else. And what I love about that is the strong ones will get traction and the weak ones will fall fast without wasting nearly as much money. Now, the second use case for this is duplicating your winners. The ads that are already performing well in your primary efforts, run them again in broad retargeting. This means your best ads work in front of your best audiences for more consistent delivery. And we have a ton of questions on this stuff, so I'm just trying to work through these things quickly to establish everything, and then we're going to show the screen in the comment section and dive into everything that you asked this week. So when you're ready to scale, broad retargeting can either sit alongside your core efforts or be its own. And you can also use it for its own dedicated marketing efforts like upsells, flash sales, or one of my favorites, run with catalog ads. Sometimes these ad sets will outperform everything else, but sometimes the platform won't spend there because the audience is smaller. So don't be afraid to put a spend minimum there. Just remember that if you put a spend minimum on, whether the ad set is live or not, that spend minimum applies. So if you have 4 or 5 different ad sets, all with spend minimums, you could see dramatically impaired distribution in a way that becomes very difficult to manage, and you might not be able to adjust your budgets. If you have spend minimums that stack up to $100, the campaign budget can't be less than that. And I've seen so many people say, I can't adjust budgets. Facebook is so stupid. It's well because you have minimums and maximums all over the place, even with inactive stuff. So just be mindful of that. Now, if your broad retargeting is working phenomenally better than other stuff, and the output for the campaign is ultimately more beneficial in a way where you can see that in your balance sheet. If your budget's like $1,000 a day, and the broad retargeting is only getting 200, but is exponentially better, lock in a $300 minimum. That way you guarantee that your top audiences are seeing your strongest ads and you have alignment. So here's the big picture. If you stay stuck on hacks and old school retargeting, where you're just abusing people and annoying folks, you'll always feel like you're fighting uphill. You'll always keep getting outspent and outpaced and outclassed, buying lower quality inventory for higher prices. But if you put broad retargeting into place, you'll give yourself a chance to lower CAC, scale budgets with confidence, and finally get out of the cycle of short-term wins. And like I said, today we're going to get through as many of your live questions as we can, so drop them in the chat. We're also going to go through all the comments section of all the videos, so I'm going to dive into that here in a second. If you want to take this even further, remember that we have a dedicated video this week, Facebook on easy mode. I think it's copy this Facebook strategy to blow up your ad account, and it will literally give you everything we just talked about today, but in more depth. I hope you really enjoy it. It's in our new format stuff. People seem to really enjoy the new thing. And so that being said, let's get to your live questions. Then we're going to open up the comment section of YouTube and answer all of your questions from the whole week. Okay? Now, let's get into it. We're going to start showing the comments on stage. Let's get this money. Damn right. Okay. Please tell me one tip for share on meta ad, please. I don't quite for share. Simplify. Stop running 20 offers. Remember that 100 ads is a terrible idea. Is it true that Meta update throttled everyone's performance? No. There have been some signal outages. However, Meta's update hasn't throttled everyone's performance. It's not Meta's fault that America installed somebody who's manufacturing a worldwide recession for personal benefit. It's not Meta's fault that it's the end of summer when buying is softest. And it's not Meta's fault that most people are running ads in a horribly mismanaged and uninformed way. In fact, Meta's trying very hard to help people do better. And they paid me to go to an event to cover it, to then bring you all of the great stuff. And I've got a 30-minute video and a 90-minute video plus a half a dozen interviews or more that we're going to be rolling through over the next month or so from everything from this summit that I was just at to help you understand in their own words with my own editorial on what you should know. What is the role for AI in Meta? And it says AI, is everything changed for Meta? Yes or no? AI has been involved in Meta for years. The delivery system is artificial intelligence. It's a machine learning environment. Dynamic creative is the single best AI for ads ever invented. Dynamic ads, catalog ads, is a phenomenal AI for creative. AI is a fun buzzword, but the AI is already in the ad account. The AI is already running everything. The fewer times you log into the account and smash a dozen buttons and launch 100 ads, the smarter that AI is. The more actions you take, the more ads you launch, the more changes you make, the dumber that AI is. And that AI is the only thing actually doing any work. So AI is everything, but it's been there for at least, well, since they moved once they moved to the edge rank system. So AI is in Meta for the last 10 years. I need a Lambo. Really? Do you? There was some asshole yesterday when I was leaving the event at Meta, the Chelsea Piers, had an Urus just fucking neutral dropping, just letting the whole world know just what a giant dick he had. And by that I mean, you know, yeah. Okay. I'm in FinPub and we have the mindset of spinning up hundreds of what and seeing what sticks. Yeah, that's a terrible idea. If you're spinning up hundreds of ads and seeing what sticks, what you're doing is saying, let me pull a shit ton of lottery tickets and see where I get a free ticket. That's a terrible way of running a business, right? Like you can place your bet on every number on a roulette table. You'll never make money. If you evenly bet, you'll always lose. If you chase what just hit, unless it hits several times, you're going to only chase bad ideas. Random distribution of attribution based around delivery is a terrible way to make a plan for the future. Let's see here. Are you waiting for your 30-day broad retargeting audience to get a specific size? So this is a great question, Lawrence, and we're going to get to more of this stuff too, so I appreciate this. I generally use a 30-day site traffic, or I tell people to start with using a 30-day site traffic, 30-day Instagram, 30-day Facebook engager. You should have traffic already. If you don't run ads. Make money first. If you're not making sales, don't run ads. You run your ads with a portion of your profit from the sales you already make. Otherwise, you're putting the majority of the money into the least like valuable thing, which is seeing if you even have a business. You don't hire a salesperson before you know if anybody will buy anything. That's just a very difficult way of being successful, and is one of the reasons that 90% of people who start a business fail. And to be fair, most people that start businesses fail the majority of the businesses they start. Doesn't mean you can't be successful. Okay. Hey, Charlie, I need your help with understanding auditing ads, the 3-2-2 method. Hi, Smith. I mean, the number one thing I can tell you is, let's see if I throw this up here. Nope. There we go. I'll get to my screen share, but there's the MBA program. I'm going to bring it back up. You can also go to disruptorschool.com/MBA. And that will teach you everything. We also just dropped on Sunday a live account audit that I did with the guys at Foreplay. And I'm quite literally right now uploading. Let's see where we're at. Checks complete. Okay. So apparently we just finished uploading a new video, and it's going to go live on Sunday of a live account audit. So sub to the channel and check out the videos. And if you really want to make the investment in yourself to be good at this thing, so you never need to rely on other people that don't give a fuck about your bottom line to be the reason that you are or are not successful in your efforts, the MBA program is probably the best investment you can make. All right. When to cut ads, the 3-2-2 method. Yeah. Hopefully that kind of gets you there. There's a lot of other stuff that we can get into, but why are we talking about when to cut ads? It seems like we should be talking about when to like launch new ones, primarily because you shouldn't have that many. Like, the entire thesis is that you have very few ads so that you know exactly how they perform. Laurent, are you mixing bottom of funnel status at top of videos? I mean, yes, in the 3-2-2 method, I'm mixing bottom of funnel statics and top of funnel videos. No, they are not in the same 3-2-2 ad. I hope that kind of makes sense. Let's see. One day my ads are running great, and the next day performance takes, CPM gets high. Here's the thing that day to day doesn't matter. It's week over week, month over month. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have bad days. If you stop when you have a bad day, the amount of good days you'll have will be substantially less. You win by having more bad days than other people will have days at all. And I think that's hopefully something that we can get to here. Jason says, no politics. Don't worry, Jason. I'm not trying to put any political opinion, just trying to state economics. The world is in recession. It is not Meta's fault. Every econometrician in the world is stating similar facts around mismanagement of resources and taxes, tariffs, and yeah, like there's no accountant or econometrician that says that the current way things are being managed is positive and the net impact is measurable, knowable, predictable, and is hit on expectation. That's not politics so much as statement of scientific fact. My political position has nothing to do with what data and numbers and money actually has to say. I'll gladly keep my political opinion off of these things. But yeah, now, Jason says, are you taking a political stance right now? No. I'm not taking a political stance right now at all. If I'm stating economic fact and accounting for the historic record, that is only a political stance if your politics is the denial of those things. And I don't think either of us are in that case. Anyway, let's keep moving on. Do you have any tips for mid-size fashion brands on Meta? Yeah. Figure out what product people buy from you that gets them to buy most often again and again, and run catalog to everything else. Don't sell more than the item that gets most people to like what you sell and buy from you repeatedly. Everything else is a liability. And clearly define your target customer. This is from Danny Del Mar, by the way. They know who their customer is. They're killing it. Okay. Hello, brother. I'm from India, and I made 1 million sales in 6 months. Fantastic. My ROAS are on 4 or 5. What should I do to boost it up? I run ads meta only. First off, congrats. Second, ROAS doesn't mean anything. In fact, if you want to make more money, get a worse ROAS and actually focus on volume of profit. Do you want a 4 or 5 that you get to a 5 or a 6? Or would you like your 4 or 5 to go to a 2 or 3, but get 3 to 5 times as many sales? If you go from a 2, if you go from a 4x ROAS to a 2, and you triple the sales volume, you make more money. Margins don't pay bills. Okay? Here in America, it's dollars and cents. I think it's rubles, maybe. My brain is completely shot. But yeah, you can't pay bills with margin. Do I use Hyros? No, I don't use Hyros. On a peer editorial, I think Hyros is run by a person that doesn't know digital marketing. I think Hyros tries to solve problems that lack actionability they, in a mediocre way, answer a question you shouldn't ask in a way that makes you feel good. That's very expensive and hurts the bottom line. The amount of people who have joined the MBA program and literally just dollar for dollar with what they were paying for Hyros got off of Hyros and were profitable just by not using Hyros anymore, and then also scaling their business, basically eliminating a debt center and adding a profit center by just changing where they invested, is in the dozens this year. So yeah, politely put, fuck Hyros. Okay. If social media can build a base audience, then what's the difference in video views for all your content? Why do you run a video view campaign in the beginning and retarget? Because people that view videos, viewing a video is very different than having intent or sentiment. Video view is based on, do I like this video? You might very well like a video of a product that you have no intention of ever buying for items that you have positive or negative sentiment around. I'll watch a funny cat video, but I'm a dog owner. Do you want me watching your cat video so that you can try to sell me a bunch of cat stuff when I have no intention of ever buying and there's nothing you're ever going to do that will change my mind? It's probably a complete waste of time. Why not make content that a cat owner appreciates so that you can then focus on that instead and have sentiment and intent be part of the funnel? Here we go. How do we change this mindset of sending up 100 ads with little or no scientific method in place? We make money. I mean, I've struggled for years to try to make this simple. But I think the number one thing I can try to tell people is that the scientific method is built off of a control and a variable. And the validity of the scientific method is the confidence in the control and the ability to measure the impact of the variable on the control. And ultimately, that test should be measurable against the environment you're in. In the space of ads, that's or advertising, that is ads, where you know how they perform, and then creative testing. If you can't say, I know how these ads perform, I launch a test. Based on that test, I can measure how it impacts the ads that I know are going to perform a certain way. And then what does that do to my ad account or to my bank account? If you can't measure it, then you have no idea what you're doing. And I would ask anybody that says, we're going to spin up 100 ads. Great, you have a winning ad. What did it do to your bank account? If you can't say this ad got more spend, and as a result, this happened to my bank account, what you don't know is anything that's going on with your ads other than, well, I spend money and money's being made. Great. You've played the game. Are you good at it? No fucking clue. That sounds terrible as far as I'm concerned. I hope that helps. It's a very loaded question that I've been trying to get people to accept the answer to. Hold on a sec. Barry Hot just texted me. I'm getting in my car to head to you. Want to get lunch after you're live? Yeah, dude. Let's get lunch. All right. Barry Hot is coming to pick me up. But he's in Brooklyn, so it's going to take him like half an hour to get to civilization. Okay. Gag Gamer. My brand tested great for 4 days, then flopped for 3 days. Planning to pause ads when we start. Should I launch the same creatives, test new ones, 16 video and 10 image ads in one CBO? Oh, man. 4 days and 3 days is a data set of 1. That's 1 week. Your ads did good initially because they launched at the bottom of the funnel. They struggled because then the machine said, okay, we have some ideas on what could work. Let's try to go after non-warm traffic. That inherently will produce more losses than wins, but that's how it learns what it should and should not do. I would take the ads that earn to spend, get it down to like the 5 ads that actually work. Launch those against your broad retargeting. Let them stabilize, do a Foreplay analysis, understand how they work. Scale that budget. As long as your week over week results of your business are net positive, scale it until you more or less plateau. Then identify what those ads do well and where their weakness is. And then simply add creative testing to improve on the weakness. Everything else is a waste of time. Let's see here. I'm asking because conversion ads always eat my budget, but I made money without ads through social media. Then just hit you up with your broad retargeting audience. Show ads to people that already know what you're doing. You'll be good to go. What tools do you think a marketer should definitely use? Like Foreplay. I love Foreplay. I think Amers is great. If you're running catalog ads, you should definitely have Marpipe. This is a question I get a lot. I should really probably post like my Martech stack because I have links to all of them on my site that are all just like subdomains, but I don't have like a here's the list of things you should use. I think I might have to do that. You've inspired me. Okay. When an ad passes the frequency threshold, what do you mean by rotate frequency threshold? Okay, so Casey, I need you to explain this because I don't know what a frequency threshold is or rotate creative. But I think the premise of this question is built on somebody taught you how to run Facebook ads that doesn't know how Facebook works. I would love to help you out, but there's a lot here. When an ad passes the frequency threshold, I mean, frequency only matters frequency only matters on a day-to-day basis. So your frequency threshold on a per day basis is like a 2 or a 3. If that ad is hitting people 3 times every single day, it says, I watch a lot of videos back to back if frequency is high, like fatigue. Yeah, ad fatigue is operator error. It's wildly misunderstood, and it is a scapegoat for ad account mismanagement and is the result of misunderstanding how things work. You want to know the #1 way to create ad fatigue? Launch a bunch of new ads. Why does that create ad fatigue? Because you're taking all of the warm traffic and you're testing every new dumb idea against it. And those dumb ideas get some random false positive wins. But they're not more sales than you would have made otherwise. They're just stealing from the other ads that already worked. So your existing ads look bad because somebody else showed up to work today and took credit for their work. You're manufacturing ad fatigue by launching more ads. I definitely have to make a video on that. As a matter of fact, for those on replay, just like hit the comment section on like what I should be making more ads, because I'm scripting out my next 8 videos right now before I have to go on paternity leave, and I want to make sure that they are as valuable as possible to you all. All right, let's keep going. Jason, political stance? No. Hello from Canada. Bonjour. Let's see. You mean that if I'm spending 60 to 70K a month and getting a ROAS of 4 or 5, should I increase the budget or what? ROAS, what I mean is ROAS doesn't mean anything. ROAS isn't profit. ROAS is an inaccurate reflection of revenue divided by ad spend that isn't the reason that revenue happened. So it's an inaccurate number divided by a number that isn't correlation or causational. I actually have a video coming out on Tuesday that might really help with this. The thumbnail literally says "fuck ROAS" on it. So there's my opinion. Let's see. Love to hear your thoughts on structuring ad sets, specifically dividing them up by avatar. Yeah, zero reason for this. Think of it more by concept. There's no differentiation here. It's a lot for me to unpack here. You should have an ad set of the ads that you know how they're going to perform. And then you have an ad set built to improve that. The idea of structuring them by funnel part is trying to squeeze a square box into a round hole. Do you think that's the best way to segment? No, I don't. I would highly recommend that you never do what you've been told by those folks. All right, I am running out of power. 1 sec. Okay. All right, got my power. Okay. Come on. Oh, damn baby proofing. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, okay, let's see. Does 322 still work after the Andromeda update? Yeah, why wouldn't it? There's so much bad information about Andromeda. Let me make it simple for you. Everything that used to work works better. Everything that was a bad idea before is a worse one. If your results are worse after the Andromeda update, it's because you were doing things wrong to begin with, and the penalty for that is only greater. What book should a marketer read suggesting regarding creatives and psychology? I don't know. Ask Dara Denny. I have some opinions actually on that, but there's a video on the Disruptor Academy channel on how to make creatives and video and write copy and stuff. But Leo Burnett, it has some really great books. Nerd out, but ask Dara. All right, how many DCTs can I run alongside if my daily budget is at least 10,000? How many do you need? I'd say 2. Whether you're spending 10,000 a day or 100, do you need more? You can launch 1,000 of them. The more you launch, the dumber they are. The dumber they are, the longer it takes you to get to a less competent answer. More ads is bad. I mean, obviously, we need some volume. But if you have 5 or 6 ads where you know how they're going to perform, and then you do an A/B test on a creative test with 322 against your control ads to see if you can improve upon it, then that's all you need. Can you explain the broad retargeting strategy? Previous told us to shoot frequency as an indicator of retargeting. Yes. Now another ad set. What changed? Nothing changed. It's just don't go after cold traffic if you don't have to. There are already people in your funnel. Your marketing efforts and you existing as a business is a perfectly reasonable place to go prospecting into. I have a whole video on broad retargeting. As a matter of fact, let's get into that one real quick after this question. You have an actual figure where you consider too many ads? Yeah, more than 6 to 8 for any business objective. How dumb do you want the machine to be? Ask AI. I have 12 ads. What are the total number of combinations of all these ads getting put together? It's something like, it's nearly 500 million. All right, we got to open up the chat. We got to open up the chat here is so active and I love it, but we got to get to the community. Okay, we got to get to the community tab. Okay, here we go. Let me get this. Jesus, there you go. All right, awesome. By the way, there's the MBA program. Scan that down there. That's how I get brands to like 1 million a week. I've been doing it for years and years and years. We're going to go ahead and just, we'll keep the comments on the chat way down over there on the right. And let's just start to plow through some of these questions because you asked them. I want to answer them. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to just take this. Okay, here we go. In broad retargeting, what exactly is it considered to be? Do we need to add any custom audience or create the creative? Broad retargeting is generally a brand or is a brand aware audience. I generally do a 30-day audience, but it can be 7-day. It could be 180. 30 days is a great way to say, like, does this work? You should be able to scale into a 30-day audience. If you max it out, meaning that everything is good, you keep scaling the budget and your frequencies are capping and like you're just like, wow, I wish I could get more out of this, make it a 90-day or start to go broad. But you can just play there. It's probably all you need. How do you create tests in a CBO inside the winner's ad set, separate ABO, a separate ad set? Inside the CBO, this is from the account audit. One ad set in your CBO is all of your winning ads. Another ad set contains a 3-2-2 ad or 2 designed to test against the control. If you can get multiple ad sets out of learning, then you have 2 ad sets with 1 3-2-2 in each. That way the campaign makes the choice of which ad set to spend on. That ad set has 1 ad within it. So the campaign is making the choice of, do I spend on the control or do I spend against one of these 2 variables? You'll then see, do these variables earn, when they earn spend, which control element do they take away from? And does the campaign improve? And does my bank account improve? If you can't get that simple, you have no idea what you're doing. And I'm not saying that is a pejorative to you. I'm saying that if you can't measure the results of your work, you don't know what work you're actually accomplishing. But that video was phenomenal, and we're launching volume 2 of this on Sunday. So glad you all love it. Really helpful video. Appreciate the clarity. Quick question: if a product is designed specifically for one gender, would you still recommend leaving wide open? I generally default to men and women. I'm okay with age, sex, gender. Women's health, I'll generally exclude men. Let me put it this way. If the item is for a man, I will include both genders in America. In most of the world. If the item is for a woman, I will often exclude men because dudes are just shitty in the comments, and many households, the women provide for the men in the way that a man does not provide for the woman. And I will leave it at that. If your household is a happy one, it's not my place to say whether that's a good or bad choice. Great video, but I also have experience with broader retargeting, and it definitely works well. But we consider broad retargeting 100-day audiences, 180 days, great. Also had the experience of broad retargeting, worked great. Awesome, Flay. I'm happy that it worked for you. Easy mode on, love it. Hey, Charlie, hope you're doing great. Quick question: the new Andromeda update is introduced. Will it affect the way we run ads? Yes. Everything that we do will be better. Everything that we don't do will be worse. Funny how every time that Facebook or Meta updates the algorithm to make it smarter, what we do gets better and what they do gets worse. And we haven't changed, and we have not fundamentally changed the approach since 2018. There's a reason for that. Because it worked. Hope you're doing well. Good question. Run advantage catalog sales. Okay, so you're doing any DPA ads running for every year. When you click a product from the carousel, it's actually to the PDP. Cool. However, today it started sent to a collection. Nothing was changed to the ad level. Obviously, the campaign tanked heavily. Do you know why? I don't know why, But what I would do is reach out to the fine folks at Marpipe, ask for Daniel or Dan. But yeah, reach out to Marpipe. They are the best in the world when it comes to catalog ads, with the most experience. And one sec. Boom. Okay. And they should be able to help you out with everything. That is weird though, but they have the most hands-on knowledge practically on a daily basis. They manage the most catalog ad budget of anybody in the world. Let's see. Excel coffee candy. Cool. All my ads have gone to the homepage. You can get a single bag, bundles, gift wrapped. Cool. Coming out of the high ROAS customizable gift bag. If I make specific ads gifting, should I just have them go to my homepage? I would try it just to that dedicated effort. See if you can get a higher AOV. I love higher AOV. Push for a higher AOV. Whoever can spend the most to acquire the customer wins the game. If you can have a higher AOV, then the rest of your site effectively functions as a retargeting offer. I don't hate that. Gold. Well, thank you. Very helpful video, but I'd love to see more in practice, actually doing something about it rather than talking about what should be done. Hey, cool. Chris, we have another video coming out. I appreciate that. Sometimes the best advice is helping people understand what's going on, and just giving people practical application knowledge with 30 minutes in an ad account where you have no understanding of how the rest of the business works. That's just a really misinformed way of helping people. But I hope you like that video, and we'll have more. The other ones get the other ones are going to be expanding on all of that. Let's see. Charlie, we can get a disruptor school discount code for the live crew from Lower Manhattan. John, if you mean Disruptor Academy or the MBA, how about this? If we run into each other and you mention it, I'll open up something for you on the spot. But I can't keep them open for everybody, although I love it. Where in Lower Manhattan, by the way? I'm in Chelsea. So, I mean, technically I'm in Chelsea, but that's my window, and across the street is the Village. And then this intersection over here is meat packing. So that kind of tells you where I'm at without Manhattan people have a good idea. Nobody else will. Anyway, are you serious? They spend 30 minutes just talking, but showing almost nothing in practice? Yes, Sean. Or Senna. Yeah. Do you want me to click a bunch of buttons or tell you how to not need to? Do you want to be able to dodge bullets, or do you want it to not matter? Hey, Charlie, what if the frequency is high and the CPM is low compared to others? What does that indicate? Somebody says ad fatigue is happening. I don't agree with that. If your frequency is high and the CPM is low, it means you know exactly where you are. Well, there we go. Compared to others, what does that indicate? It means that the bottom of your funnel really enjoys your content, but it means that content will probably not scale. Ad fatigue is would mean that the CPM is very high and the frequency. So yeah, remember, CPM is the indicator of user experience. This is great information. No one does the type format. Great wealth of information. You're welcome, Wash Wizard 2019. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. Again, I think most people really enjoyed it. I think some folks were really hoping for me to just show all the magic buttons. And the honest truth is that doesn't exist. And if that's what you're looking for, follow other folks that promise it, and eventually you'll come back here and be like, man, Charlie, you were right 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, whatever it is. Or you can just not waste your time and pay attention to what I'm saying now. Easy way to print money. Was this part of the 2x Q&A calls or a live audit in the Disruptor Academy? Easy way to print money. Man, no, we just do this every week. Sebastian, these are just live calls every Friday, 9 a.m. We're on one right now. All right, Jesse, I've watched some of the previous videos on the 322 method. What I did is that I made all the combination of the individual ads. This way I can see which copy, creative, or headline worked the best. No, actually, that's not what it means. With using this way you showed me in the video, you can't see the individual use cases. So you didn't actually see which combinations work best. You saw which combination was lucky enough to get credit for success in a cannibalistic environment on a limited sample size. I don't care which combination got best results. I care if the entire option allows me to spend more money. It is not a race to find winning ads. It is understanding how much more can I spend because I've created an environment that is successful. A creative test is not about a CPA or a ROAS. A creative test is about ad spend. A creative test is about ad spend. If it does not allow you to spend more, it doesn't matter. And so the definition of success as a scorecard of wins is one that has been preached by folks who charge a lot of money for volume of work because they can't point to the volume of money their work produces. That's what I would say. Are you using this new method with the Andromeda update? Yeah. Why would the machine, specifically investing in AI to make how the machine works function better, mean that using the machine in the way it was designed to be used would be any less effective? I'd argue it only has gotten smarter. Every update since 2018 has made this style only more effective. That's my opinion. What's going on with this Andromeda algorithm update? Andromeda sales plummeted. We have a end of summer, we have a recession, and 3 incidents of a data outage. That struggles. If people have less money to spend, and people are getting paid less, working less, because there's less work to go around, and prices are up, with less profit being made on sales, and the cost of the platform are rising, while people are spending less money because of seasonality, and there's data outages, it's going to struggle. But again, that's 2 or 3 bad days. It's like iOS 14. Everybody's like, oh, iOS 14 destroyed my ad account. It was a bad, 3 days. Unless you were doing things wrong. I'm just trying to help you avoid those. Okay. Anyway, it absolutely screwed some people, though. Those data outages were hellacious on folks. Some of it's Meta's fault. The vast majority of the problem isn't. Let's see. Launched ads 4 days ago. $20 a day ad spend. 39 spent in total in learning phase. I have no idea, Stacy. That is wild. I hear this every now and again. My number one recommendation for these weird things is to just make a second ad account and try spending there. You probably have the ability of having more than one ad account in your business manager because you've spent anything. So I just kind of focus on that. How can I get that if I only run Instagram ads? You can't. Instagram ads don't allow for the ad ID or the post ID. Okay, we got a bit of a manifesto in here. Thanks again for such informative video. Quick question when you're free. The same rules apply for any and all industries. Quick example if you're bored. Okay. 322, can my images have headlines or copy inside of them? Yes. What could potentially script the 322 ad? If the concepts or if the creative formats are different. Industry is real estate and investing. 20 plus years. I've been running ads for a long time, but traditionally I would imagine really want 322 ads or single family homes commercial. Very interested in your strategy and how I could in an industry like mine use this effectively. Hey, look, I've had multiple real estate agents and folks in your industry join the MBA program, and all of them have seen really great success. So this works. Dude, you're the man. Thank you for your helpful feedback. Right now, I have 2 campaigns, 1 ad set, 5 ads each, running $100 a day for each campaign. That's a great place to see which campaign you should run with. Turn off the one that sucks. Then do 3-2-2 ad testing against the one that is good to improve its weakest link. There you go. That sneaky plug in the miss handshake at the end. Somebody was watching. Okay. Where is the sheet you've mentioned? I didn't find it. I need some more details, Smiles. If you don't mind going back and timestamping the sheet you're referring to. Didn't see one single ad account, bro. You smoke too much. Oh, the school. Okay, so you're in Tribeca and you want, the Disruptor Academy. Yes, it's at $147 right now. If we run into each other, I'll give it to you for $97. All right. I'm often posting like, hey, let's go get cigars, whatever else. Wherever I'm at. I'm actually hosting 2 events for school this weekend. I'm doing the school IRL tomorrow. I'm a guest speaker in their masterclass, and I'm one of the hosts of the event here. So, but hey, man, message me. Let's see what we can do. Following from Brazil, good job, love it. I don't even know what this says. Okay, thank you very much. I'm just not cool enough. I think that's what that means. I think these mean the same thing. I hope. Hello, must have created a domain name. You could run on a page without them, I'm pretty sure. Said need to learn a summit. Okay, we're just starting to derail. All right. Let's pull this up here. When I run a lead ad campaign, the DCT, the post ID is showing it was blank at the ad level. Yes. When you're running lead objective, when you're running leads ads, depending on your ad account and the setting, especially if you're using lead form on Facebook level ads, you cannot get the post ID in the traditional way. My number one recommendation is to run a conversion campaign where the conversion event is a lead, and then you can see everything. That's how I would do it. All right, everybody. Quite the barn burner today. I hope you guys are liking these formats seems like you are. We're dropping a video on Tuesday. On Friday, we're going to take all of your questions and try to dive in deeper to all your feedback on the videos. Also, the Academy is blowing up, and we just rebuilt the MBA, and it is now just, it's phenomenal. And if you get in right now, we're doing a live cohort in the MBA starting next week on Thursday. The live cohort technically starts on Monday with a kickoff call, and they're doing 2 calls a week for the next 6 weeks. If you've been thinking about joining the MBA, joining right now will fast track you. Like in 45 days, you'll be better than like the volume of revenue you could be making in Black Friday will easily pay for the cost of admission. And I ultimately want to leave you with this. You should please stop trusting people who don't give a fuck about your bottom line with the future of your business. As somebody who has trained some of the fastest growing ad agencies in the world, I can tell you that anybody can do this job. In an hour or 2 a week, you can manage an ad account better than almost anybody else. If you give me 90 days, I'll make you better than 90% of the people on the planet at this work. We're doing a 45-day accelerator through that, so it's not even 90 days. You can 100% do this. And right here, can tell the difference between the Disruptor Academy and the MBA. Disruptor Academy is me helping you get your legs, get some speed, go from a stand to a crawl. Disruptor Academy is my way of helping you get into a place where you feel comfortable running ads with a business that generates profit and getting some scale. The MBA is how we can take that and give you exponential returns. The amount of folks that have joined the MBA and are 2 to 3xing their business in months is fantastic. I mean, of course, you know, we've had like Under Outfit that went from 50K a month to $1 million a week in 18 months. We had car seat covers that went from the car seat cover solutions that went from 5 million runway to 10 million runway in 6 months. And a year later, we're now on the way to 20. Bailey is famous for like saying like he 10x'd his business doing it that way. There are a lot of opportunities out there. The biggest difference between the academy and the MBA is the cost and the depth of the expertise. The academy will let you run ads at a profit. The MBA will make your business wildly successful. I think that's the simplest I can get there in 60 seconds or less. But we are over time. We are at 1 hour and 37 seconds. So I'm going to go. I'm going to take this little dude for a little lap. And then go get some sushi with Berry Hot. And with that being said, thank you all so much. I really appreciate all of your comments, all of your questions. The number one thing you can do for me that's free is just share the videos you like. Sharing is like the number one thing that tells the machine that you value what we're doing here. And that helps me help other people. So I'm sure that you love me being like your little secret on the side, but there's plenty for everyone. So that all being said, take care. And we got a live video coming out on Sunday, live audit. We have a great video coming out on Tuesday. I'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel right here. And yeah, take care. See ya. There's no power in sushi. I don't even know what that means. Okay, bye.